I got what I want. I just nothing's perfect. You understand what I'm saying? I would like it to be as close to perfect as
Sure,
possible.
that's the goal.
And that's it. Other than that, I pretty much have what I want. I can complain, and I do complain. You know what I mean?
But the fact that you're allowed to complain is part of getting what you want.
Right.
Like a person that loves you, the person that wants to be with you, etc. The fact that you can complain to them is part of being in a relationship. And even if you're complaining about them or about something they've done, I mean, as long as you're doing it in a way that's not like attacking and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. He that's my family, so he's gonna give me a hard time regardless. You know what I mean? So.
But yeah, I mean, that's just part of it. You have to be allowed to complain. So, it just is.
That's something else.
But yeah, I think that's the answer to the original question. It varies. It depends on a girl, a woman level of maturity.
And it's not standardized for men either, but females, let me give you a good tip. This is how you can start. I think men want to be respected, fed, and fucked. And I think that sums it up pretty much there's more to it. It's not just that. Why'd you get quiet, man?
Because you said fed, and I like to cook, so I'm like, I'd rather cook for myself.
You cook.
I'd rather be
That's
the one
different,
cooking.
But do you want to cook every night?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay. That's
Love
Cam
it.
to cook.
Love it.
I don't cook as much. I want you to cook for me.
I would absolutely.
Yeah. Cam's food is good, by the way. He's a good cook. I'll keep telling y'all that, and I wouldn't, if he sucked, I'd tell him right now. But he can cook. So.
No, I think there's different definitions of respect, though. That's part of the problem. Like what you view as respect.
Yeah.
Like think about the old days. Respect was the woman doesn't say anything.
Right.
She just knows her place. That was respect, which isn't respect. You would never. Well, you'd be hard pressed to get away with that now.
Well,
that's like bordering on abuse right now.
That's where communication comes in.
Absolutely. So that's what men want. I think is a better way is communication. Mm-hmm. I think some of the worst times I personally have had in relationships were communication. I think women, y'all gonna be mad at me, but
tell the truth, brother.
But here
Preach.
it is. So women, for some reason, think that men are mind readers. Some of the biggest fights that I've ever gotten in were, well, I just assumed you would know to do ABC. I didn't know I would have to tell you to do this. And I'm just like, can you just tell me? Write me a list. I'm not your mother. I don't need you to be my mother. I just want to be able to do what you need me to get done because I don't know what the fuck you want.
Okay, so you brought on a story. My wife isn't watching now, but if you are watching, I love you. So
He
anyway,
said, "Oh Lord."
So me and my wife would go to Salad Works. Okay, now when we go to Salad Works, she tells them what she wants. Okay, I'm not paying attention to what she's telling them. They come to me next. What do you want, sir? Because I'll let her order first. I'm a gentleman, so I'll order what I'm ordering. So the other 3 weeks ago, can you run to Salad Works and get me a salad? No problem, because that's the type of guy I am. No problem. I'll go, So I go and get her salad. I come back. She was like, did you get butter for the roll? I said, no. She was like, how do you expect me to eat a roll without butter? I said, well, that's how I eat it, and you've never told me to get the butter when I left. You understand? Well, I get butter all the time. I said, do you tell them what you want, or do I pick it out for you? No, you get it yourself. So how did you expect me to know that you wanted the butter?
Salad Works, I think they ask you if you want butter or not. So it's
no, they don't. They ask you what kind of roll you want.
No, because there's two different butters. Yeah, but there's two different butters.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
I think
two.
you grab them though out of a thing, don't you?
There's
I think
two.
you grab them though out of a thing, don't you?
Not the ones I've gone to. They ask, would you like
Well,
butter?
this one on 40,
Because I always tell them, I'm like, nah, I don't even want. I tell them I don't even want the roll.
the one in Fox Run on 40.
Yeah.
I think you grab your own butter. Now the mall, that's a different story
Yeah, I
because
think it's the mall.
everything's behind the.
But just
counter.
FYI, those ingredients at Salad Works kind of suck.
Okay, hold on. Companionship, respect, giving me my space. That's an important thing, especially when you're angry. You know what I mean? It's kind of like get away from me for a minute.
So that's another big thing. We can go into that. That's another thing that has.
Fucking Lori, you crazy?
Another thing that has been a problem in relationships with me personally is leave me alone. I just need some time. Okay, no
And
problem.
follow you around.
No. Well, I have gotten to follow you, right?
Yeah.
But no. So let me fix that. They have said, "Leave me alone. I need my time. I need my space," and I do. And then it's, why didn't you come talk to me? Why didn't you come talk to me? You knew I was upset. Why didn't you come talk to me? Now, conversely, like you said, so if I say I need my space, look, just leave me alone for a little bit. Let me calm down. I'm angry.
Right.
Then it's follow you around. But we need to talk about this. You ain't gonna just sweep this under the rug.
And then when it's them,
I'm like,
whole nother story.
are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you follow them around, and it's, you won't leave me alone. Why won't you just leave me alone? But then as soon as you leave, it's, why won't you talk to me?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I've
Miguel,
gotten.
my brother Miguel is on here. What's going on, brother?
So yeah, I've gotten. Just look, I just need time to calm down. I don't know why you need to calm down. I don't even know why you angry.
Right.
And then follow me all around arguing, and then the argument never stopped.
Right.
So I'd like to argue, but not with the person I'm in a relationship with. I'm into like Facebook arguing and all that bullshit. I don't want to argue at home. I don't want to argue with the person. I want to be able to have a conversation where we can disagree about something, but not an argument that we're like in a heated argument about something. Like,
Nobody wants to be at odds with anybody they live with, man. I mean, even your children. You rather, you just want peace at home. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's something that nobody's mentioned yet. Peace. What do you want in a relationship? I can tell you at 45 years old, right now, today, the number one thing I want in my life is peace. I'm all for arguing on Facebook. I'm the biggest troll ever on Facebook and Instagram and all that. I love it. It's the most fun I ever had. But I'm not trying to have that at home.
Right.
I was in a relationship where I've been in a couple of relationships where the fact that I did that on Facebook bothered them. Like, what? For what? It's my entertainment.
Right.
It has zero bearing on you. But I get it. I mean, well, I can't even put you on my Facebook because you on here acting a fool. All right. Well, but still, like, I think it just becomes too much when you're arguing all the time. That's a bit much.
A guy I know, I'm gonna leave him discredited because he don't deserve the credit. Now I'm joking, but he's gonna know who he is. He says all the time to me, something about that. That's just not something I'm willing to deal with, just to be at each other's throat the whole time. I mean, he said it in a different way. And I get it, man. That's very stressful when you get up there in age. It wears on you even more.
Yeah, I mean, you got job stress. I think
Phew. We could do a whole show on job stress.
I think I had a teacher, a Glasgow teacher, Mr. King. He said, you have enough natural enemies in your life without going out of your way to make new ones. So why would you want to be enemies with the person that you're sharing your life with? Right. That makes no sense at all. So I'm always arguing when I'm in relationships for some reason, but I don't want to. Like, that's the thing I would least like to do is argue with the person I'm in a relationship with. It's just not fun. There's no joy on Facebook. Pure joy. At home, it's fucking miserable.
It's miserable. But you know what? I'll take it even a step further. Lori's on here, and hopefully, Lori, you don't get mad at me for telling the story.
Or Angela.
Me and Lori worked together, very close together at a job, and we didn't really get into it much, but every now and
Fred's
again,
right. Some people are like that. Yeah, I think I will go smart guy. You get into your story in a second. But I will go smart guy, and the clinical term for that, the people that like pain, is called alexithymia, and it's similar to the reasoning why sharks have to swim in order to survive. There are people in the world that need chaos just to thrive, and strangely enough, I learned it on Sopranos. The clinical term is alexithymia.
I heard a preacher say one time, said, if y'all didn't argue, talking about couples, if y'all didn't argue, y'all wouldn't know what to do. Because that is 90% of your conversation.
Silence in the house.
Going back to the story, me and Lori worked close. And, every now and again, we would get, mad at each other or whatever. Not about nothing serious. But the one thing I always respected about her and I is it was over in like 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, she turned to me one time, I was mad at her, and I came out and I was getting ready to apologize to her because I was in the wrong at this time. Before I could even get it out, she's like, you ready to make up now? You know what I mean? So I always respected Lori for that. Lori, we've been long-time friends. Lori's like family to me. So, I'm glad she tunes in every Sunday.
Every Sunday, yeah. Definitely appreciate that. But yeah, I think there's such a discord just in honesty, and I don't think people even tell the person that they're attempting to or getting involved in a relationship what they want. Because it's almost like, for females, they don't want to tell the man because they don't want to scare him off. For males, they don't want to seem over anxious or overzealous, and instead of just being upfront. And you don't have to be like, I want to be married and have 4 kids and have a white picket fence and 3 dogs and 2 cats, and like, you don't have to do all that. That's way too much. But just say, hey, look, you know what? I mean, I don't want to get into it. My last relationship was a lot of arguing. One thing I don't want to ever do is argue. My last relationship, my boyfriend cheated on me. Loyalty is really important to me, and transparency, all that stuff. That's just real important to me. Just fucking be honest. And we live in a society full of lies. And I'm not going to get deep into the dickhead president we got that lies every time he opens his mouth, but we live in a society where it's almost acceptable to lie.
Alternative facts is a term now. There's only one alternative to a fact, and that's a lie. So
alternative facts, like fake news. Like, there were never fake news before. Well, that's not true.
It's only fake news when it paints somebody in a negative light.
That's not true. There's actually, strangely enough, there's a Tribe Called Quest song that uses the phrasing fake news. I can't remember the song, but I was listening to it. I was like, damn, there was fake news before this dude. But still, there's never been a thing where you can watch a video and somebody says, well, that's not what he said, or that's not what she said. You telling me that my eyes and ears? What?
My eyes and ears are wrong. Right.
It's just ridiculous, and I think we live in the age of deception. I guess I will say that, and the deception. Fuck politics. Put politics aside. We live in an age of deception because of social media, because of pictures. I'm gonna tell all the dudes on this thing.
What's going on, bro?
And this might be a little bit, but stop sending girls dick pics, because all girls know y'all angle the phone, fucking zoom in, all that bullshit.
What's going on, brother?
It's the age of deception. Like, come on. And then you, in front of her, she like, oh, what happened? Like, dudes, stop sending girls dick. Just don't do it. Right. That shit is only entertainment. So, it just is the age of deception. I think that is the biggest problem with relationships nowadays, with getting into relationships, everybody is, how can I get this person to where I want them to be with X amount of deception?
Let me backtrack a little bit. You were talking about being honest in relationships. I had a conversation. I was working at a place in Newcastle, and there was this guy there. He was an Indian guy. His name was RC. And through our talks,
If you tell a joke,
no,
that's how you set up
not
your
here,
jokes.
not here, not for the podcast. Anybody who knows me know I do set up my jokes like that. But the gentleman's name, RC, was his nickname. I can't pronounce his whole name, but that's why he called himself RC.
Right.
And through talks with him, we became really good friends. And through talks with him, he told me he was in an arranged marriage. I said to him, isn't that kind of crazy, man? Like, you forced to love someone? And he turned to me, he's like, actually, Mark, it's better. So I'm like, well, how? He said, well, you don't have to impress the person. So it's honesty from the gate.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because whether the person accepts you or not, you're already in this arranged marriage. So you're getting the ugly up front.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which I always said, if you can deal with somebody's ugly and still love them, you love the person. You can probably work that out. You know what I mean? But if you can't, you know what I mean, and somebody's hiding that right from the gate, and then you find out, for instance, I know for a fact you don't like marijuana smokers. So if you were dating a girl and everything was fine, then you find out she smoked marijuana, that's probably a deal breaker for you.
Right.
But if she had been up front, you could have made that decision right away before your heart got into it. And that's another thing I just want to give as a tip to the gentlemen out there and the ladies. If there's something you witness about a person in the beginning before your heart gets into it and you can't stand it, it's probably not going to change. Get rid of that person, move on, because I don't think people after the age of 14 can really change. I'm not saying they can't, but it's.
I think you can make slight changes, but I think it takes a while to change a habit. Like you're not going to change behavioral patterns that if you've lived your whole life being spoiled,
you're going to be spoiled.
You're going to be spoiled. There's nothing that's going to change that. You might not get spoiled by somebody, but you're going to be miserable or upset because you're not getting spoiled.
Right.
But
which is a problem.
Eject button. Yeah. Behavioral. You can't change behavioral patterns, or you can change your thought patterns. But thought patterns are easier to change than behavioral patterns. And what I mean by that is going back, like, there are a lot of girls that I know didn't used to be the type of girls that I'm gonna see how much I can get this dude to buy me and blah blah. They didn't used to be like that. They became like that out of changing their thought pattern. But if it was a behavioral pattern, it's just not something that you can change.
And another thing I'll say too, on the point you just made, if you do that, if there's ladies who are like that and guys do that, then honestly, she can only take advantage of what you'll let her take advantage of. You have the ability to stop that. So, my thing is, don't get so blind or get so head over heels for a person that you just let them run yourself into a hole, just bending over backwards to do certain things for them. If you want to do something for somebody because you care for them or love them, that's one thing.
Right. It should be a random, what is it called? Random act of kindness. That's what you do.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an expected thing. Girls should get spoiled. They should get treated. But if it becomes an expected thing, where, where's my shit this month? Like, you ain't buying me nothing this month. What?
And it should work both ways in a sense.
Uber. Look.
Yeah.
Go Uber. Matter of fact, you can use my car.
But it should work both ways.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
But again, guys have less expectations. I think we talked about that before, where you were saying, it's hard for your wife to know what to get you. I think you said something like she knows now she can get shotgun shells and you'll be perfectly happy.
Right.
But it's harder.
I'd rather have shotgun shells than a razor. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
no, I can buy myself a razor. Give me shotgun shell. Give me stockpile on some bullets.
But I think it's a little more difficult for women to spoil men. I think there are spoiling
I don't think it's hard.
Hold
I
on.
completely disagree.
So
But go ahead.
let me finish though. I think their spoiling is different than the materialistic spoiling that we do. I think
gotcha.
they spoil in different ways. Where wife cooks you dinner, favorite meal or whatever. Wife, cleans your gun. I don't know if she does or not, but
Nah, she don't touch
but
my gun.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That would be something that you'd be like,
only one gun.
you'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
Yes, I caught that. So much for the PG show. But yeah, so women spoil men in different ways, and it's not always buying them something. You know, it's doing stuff. I've been in relationships where I heard, "Well, I clean the house every week. That's your gift." Okay. So me paying all the bills, is that yours? I don't know. Why doesn't it work? But, you know, again, that's being with somebody that's immature and that's an eject button case, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, it's different. But I think honesty is where I would say honesty in communication is where men and women have the biggest discord nowadays.
Yeah.
So that's the answer to that.
Well, I think that is going to be the end of this segment.
That's going to
I
be
don't
it.
know if it's going to be the end of the podcast or not.
We'll be
kinda
back.
out there. All right, we'll be back.